Hey gang, in this video, I want to share with you some ways that you can generate mortgage leads for free in 2024. It's actually not as hard as most people make it out to be. So I'm going to take you through a quick 4-step process that will get you generating mortgage leads in no time for free. So number one, first and foremost, you need a landing page or somewhere to send the people that you're engaging with, the audience. You need a place to send them. That starts with a landing page. Hopefully you will eventually evolve that into a full website, but you can get started with something as simple as a landing page. And the secret to this is having the landing page be specific and niched into a particular program, loan program. So you can have multiple of these, but keep it very narrow because it will actually convert much better if you take it from your content, which we're going to talk about here in a second, to a specific landing page. And those things are directly connected and focused on a very specific type of borrowing scenario. So you don't have to be technical and you can start very inexpensively. There's kind of 3 tiers to this, right? One, kind of the simplest form would be get something like Typeform. And I'm a big fan of doing a survey style form. So you're going to set up Typeform. You're going to have it for a particular loan program, and you're going to think about 3 to 5 questions that you would ask that person, right? So if they're a DSCR loan, you might want to ask them if they're an investor, if they're a US-based investor, how long they've done it, how many properties they have. So again, a quick little survey. The best way to think about the questions to ask is what would be those initial questions that you would ask as you got them on the very first call that gives you enough context to start to sort of advise them. So start with Typeform. You can, of course, use the Kaleidico website. Our websites, we can give you a full website completely branded to you for $250 a month. So that's not terribly expensive. And all of those landing pages and all of those various loan programs are already built in there. So that's kind of the advanced option of there. And then in between, and also we use these types of forms inside of our website as well. You could do something like a Rebel IQ, which is super focused on the form portion of this because it is so important. So having a landing page with a high converting form, Rebel IQ, or what you can find in the Kaleidico's Velocity platform. But you need that form. So again, keeping it super simple, keeping it as free as we can, Typeform. And then as a part of that actual form, it's very helpful on that landing page to also have what we call a lead magnet. And this can be as simple as creating a Google Slides or PowerPoint presentation where you just outline some of the high points or the benefits and features of a particular loan program and then turning that into a PDF. And so on that page, they can actually inquire with you, fill out that survey-based form, or they might just want to collect some information. So the lead magnet gives them that sort of secondary choice, that secondary call to action, where they can just download something that gives them a little bit of information. Gets over the anxiety of initially going, in front, with a salesperson or a loan officer. Sometimes that can be a little intimidating, or then maybe need to work through some things or talk over some things with a partner or a spouse. And so having that downloadable sort of offering, what we call a lead magnet, is a good way to get an email, fill out the full form, get an email in exchange for delivering whatever that lead magnet is. And again, something very simple to put together. So let's kind of think about this as we talk about this first step, the landing page or / website. All you need is to have that landing page be specific to the loan program. It should have a survey style form that allows you to start asking questions of them and they feel as though they're kind of moving through and closer to getting the answers to the questions that they need. And at the end, there will be contact information and they'll fill that out and submit it to you. That becomes a lead. That can be facilitated with something like Typeform, or there's some other platforms like that. The secondary offering, right? The secondary call to action would be a lead magnet, which would allow them to see on that page, hey, if you're just interested in getting some information of what you need to know about being a first-time home buyer, or what you need to know about the rates just having dropped and what that could mean for cash out refinance or home equity. Just simply put together a quick 3 to 5 page PDF again, build this in Google Slides, PowerPoint, and export it as a PDF, and that's what you offer. They just simply give you their email, and then you're going to set up, pull that onto their list, and then you're going to deliver to them in response to giving that email. You're going to give that lead magnet to them. Okay, so that's step one. That's your landing page. That's your lead acquisition mechanism. So now you have the first two pieces that you need to generate leads. So in order to generate leads, you need a landing page, you need a high converting form, and then the last piece is you need traffic. So you need high intent visitors to come to that landing page and fill out that form. So how do we get traffic? That moves to part two of generating your free leads. Again, up until this point, everything is essentially free. So you could buy leads, or you could do pay-per-click with Google ads and Facebook ads, but you honestly don't need to do that. Instead, you just need to hop on social media and start talking to the audience that you probably already have on some of these channels. And then as you produce content and you start talking on these platforms, you will just naturally acquire followers. And the nice thing about putting content into these channels and then acquiring those followers, the only people that are following you, the only people that are going to kind of build around you or follow you are going to be those people that are interested in what you sell, in this case, mortgages, right? So let's think about social media. Facebook is an obvious first choice because most of us are on Facebook. You've already got friends and family and neighbors and colleagues, which in the mortgage business, those are all your ICPs. Those are all potential home buyers or homeowners that need to refinance. So start on Facebook. You don't need to go straight to ads. You can just simply post on your feed every so often that, hey, there is, I'm a mortgage broker. Most people probably already know that. And just tell them what's going on. Have a perspective on the rates. They've probably seen it on CNBC or something that the rates just dropped. Give them some context to understand that. Help them to understand how that works in context with their own financial situation. You could talk about wealth building. There's all kinds of personal financial topics that you can talk about just naturally on your own Facebook feed to push out into your audience. And then those people will self-identify that need your help. And you will, through DMs, start to get some leads just out of that audience. And those people already trust you. This is kind of like the friends and family. So if you ever, you probably remember back in the day when you first kind of started your first sales job, the first thing they asked you to do was write down 100 to 150 people that you know closely and to email those people and try to get deals from them, right? Facebook is kind of the virtual digital version of that. Okay, the second one that's in my list, and I'm kind of putting these in order. The second one that I would definitely investigate is starting to publish content on LinkedIn. Now, we all think about LinkedIn as essentially a place to get a job and our resumes there. But the thing that people forget is, one, that feed is getting more and more active and it's blending both personal and business sort of content. And those people in LinkedIn are generally perfect ICPs. Fluent. They, for the most part, have jobs or are looking for jobs actively. And so that's going to be a really highly qualified demographic. And again, just like Facebook, the people that are initially following you on that LinkedIn channel is going to be people that already know and trust you, right? And so they know who you are, they know what you're offering. Now, it's a good possibility there's a bunch of mortgage brokers around you, but you can easily spread that out. So as you start to publish material into LinkedIn about mortgages or having opinions, even if it's sort of the industry insider perspective, one, that'll help build your visibility and your credibility within the industry and your colleagues, and help you with potential future jobs. But it'll also start to attract those people that are interested in that material, interested in sort of a deeper dive on mortgage. And so that will potentially also give you opportunities for mortgage leads, right? And you're going to get, those are going to come in through DMs. You can actively build out a particular ICP or something you want to serve. If you want to serve dentists or you want to serve doctors, or so you can easily build out those ICPs and go out and actively sort of connect to those demographics as well. So that can be a really effective military, if you're a VA specialist and those sorts of things. So there are other sort of more advanced tactics, but just get in there and start publishing content inside of LinkedIn. and that can be super effective. The other thing to keep in mind too is even if you just think, oh, I just got mortgage brokers, there are vendors around you. There are all kinds of non-licensed people inside of your network that you're going to be able to help that may be in and around the mortgage industry, a mortgage broker. So keep that in mind as well. So LinkedIn can be very fruitful. Don't just think it's a place for your resume. Number 3, YouTube. You probably all heard this before, but the number 2 search engine is YouTube. And so YouTube can be a really effective place for you to get that mortgage message out there. And so what you're doing is essentially, again, thinking about the mortgage programs, the loan programs that you support. This is also one of, this can be a really great tactic. They often say that like, hey, we learn things better when we teach it. So if a new loan program comes out, do a deep dive on it. Try to understand it as much as you can, and then go out to YouTube or your video camera, your phone, like I'm using here, and actually teach that loan program. Talk about the features, the benefits, the scenarios that it's for, and just publish that on YouTube. It's going to be a great resource. YouTube is going to give you a bunch of search results, but it's also going to distribute you out into that platform. So YouTube can be a really effective way of acquiring new leads, new followers, and people that are potentially interested in mortgage now and in the future. And then, of course, like I said, number 2 search engine. So if people are trying to figure out mortgages, or they're trying to figure out how to be a more successful real estate investor, they're going to go to YouTube. And so I know for a multitude of different topics, if I'm trying to learn something or more, I'm probably going to YouTube first. So make sure that you build out your presence and you become the expert in all of those all of those things that are happening in the economy, and all of those things that can contribute to people building greater wealth in the realm of real estate. The last thing to think about on social media, of course, there's other platforms we can talk about. But ultimately, if you really want to stand out and you want to have the most success, video is certainly king. So all of these platforms are increasingly embracing video. So if you have the courage to get in front of the camera and teach just as you would if you had somebody on the phone, the potential home buyer or homeowner, all the different options that they have, then you're going to have a huge advantage, because most people don't have the courage to go to video and onto those platforms. And so there is a huge demand within these platforms, within the technology itself, for video content. So video is king. So drum up the courage and do video for sure, and you will get more visitors, more followers, more traffic, and then that begets more leads. In all of those scenarios, make sure that in the comments section or the description section of those postings, you link them, and you talk about this if you're doing video, you link them to that landing page. You tell them that's where they can go to get more information and to connect with you to have a consultation. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 1, landing page, and within that form, lead magnet. Number 2, social media. That's where you're getting your traffic. And then number 3, this is kind of a little bit of an offline, but it's a great way to get mortgage leads. So think about events, and try to think about events outside of the normal context. We're always thinking about going to open houses, right, and realtors. But let me give you a couple of other ideas that are a little bit of a different type of event that will allow you to go a little bit deeper and pull in more people to potentially generate leads for you. If you've ever heard of Dave Ramsey, he teaches kind of a personal finance class on how to get out of debt, how to build wealth. That program or other programs, taking that program, becoming certified, and offering those classes will get you in front of people who are interested in thinking about their money, their personal financial situation, and future wealth building. And that becomes a robust audience for mortgage leads. So you're going to build trust, you're going to build credibility, and more importantly, you're going to build those people into better customers for you ultimately. So find some programs like that that you can teach. There's a lot of demand. A lot of people are looking for those type of courses or events that they can go to and learn more about money, which is always a little bit of a pain point. Wealth building for young people. This is something that I've just sort of, as my kids have gotten older, started to marry and go out on their own, buy their own homes. One of the things that I realize more than ever before, is that these young people don't have a lot of background on personal finance and wealth building. They just weren't taught it in high school, in college. Even as we grew up, and as focused as I am and as important as I think it is to be knowledgeable about these things, I probably didn't teach it as much as I should. So I've actually been sitting down as my kids have gone through buying a house and getting out of college and paying off their student loans. I've actually spent more time explaining some of the aspects of personal finance, buying a home, building wealth, things that I've learned that now I'm sitting down and teaching. And what a great thing to put together and to just make a program where you're actually offering, going out into your community and offering the opportunity for young people to come in front of you and learn some of those wealth building strategies. It's a huge opportunity to build those folks up so that they are strong potential home buyers and homeowners in the future. Of course, the first-time home buyer course is always super popular, gives a really very focused context. People want to buy a home, people want to own a home. And a lot of times, just like personal finance sort of learnings, they just weren't taught it, right? So that can be awesome. I've also seen some friends who have done some really interesting focuses for their mortgage business, right? So you could focus on veterans. That's one a lot of people have thought about. I'm a veteran. I think that's nice to be able to pull together a group of veterans and educate them on home ownership or even real estate investing. So that's a group or a category. So thinking about these little niche categories or groups of people. Another one that I've seen somebody do a really effective, basically built I think their whole mortgage company around this. Essentially, it's this concept of hobby farming or buying land. So this is a little bit more of a difficult sort of mortgage or financial or lending scenario. And so people that want to have a horse farm or want to do some hobby farming or even larger scale farming, this can be a really interesting demographic or group that you can niche down on and provide some education because most of the time when people are trying to do that, they run into all kinds of problems in getting the financing that they need to buy land that's multiple acres and all the things that come with that. But there's all these other little scenarios, right? There can be things around ADUs that are becoming really popular. So building some education around how to finance an ADU. Again, we've seen this in some other categories. We've seen financing for doctors, young residents that are coming out of medical school, dentists, veterinarians. So there's all these little niche affinity groups that you can build education around and specifically target them, again, with content. The other one that I like and have seen a lot of strategies around is reverse mortgage and home equity for financial advisors. So again, we're talking about educating a particular group that can be the source of mortgage leads. So educating financial advisors on how to leverage the equity in the home. Most of these financial advisors are really focused on assets under management, while most people's assets are trapped inside of their mortgage. And so educating those financial advisors on how to take their clients and tap into or unlock a significant amount of additional assets that they can help to manage can be really powerful that would make these financial advisors want to partner with you. And then again, tapping into any other existing communities and affinity groups that you're around. Building events specifically for those groups can be a really powerful way and an efficient way to build a lot of mortgage leads over time and just to build a group and an audience that's going to just over and over again deliver to you strong referral mortgage. Number 4, and the one that sort of wraps all this together, is just keep in mind that content is king. Once you have the platform, once you have the landing page technology, or you have the website that you can build those landing pages on, and then you're building the lead magnets, those PDFs, and then you're building out the training. Hopefully this is on video, so you can do it digitally, you could do it in person. Once you kind of build that apparatus, all you need to do is keep refreshing it with additional content, and you're saturating that audience that just keeps following you. So as you put more content out, the audience will get larger and larger. And as the audience gets larger and larger, the amount of mortgage leads that flow into you will increase significantly. And everything that I've talked about in this video is entirely free. Obviously, you can hire some people to make that go faster, but all of this stuff is within the capability of any of you. You can create a type form to collect that lead. You can build a PDF from Google Slides, and then you can step in front of your camera and talk about the new loan program that came out and publish that on YouTube and LinkedIn. All of these things are within your capability. You just need to build a little bit of a system that creates that content machine and makes it part of your normal daily work activities. And in no time, you'll be generating hundreds of leads a month for free. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, I would love for you to do me the favor of liking this channel. It helps it to grow. And then, of course, subscribing so you can get more and more of these tips about how to generate mortgage leads and help to build your mortgage business.